Tactics. Definition: the science and art of disposing and maneuvering forces in combat. Add the name Final Fantasy in front of it, and you've created geniusness. From the golden age of Squaresoft, derived from its most famous legacies of the past 3 decades within video game history, Final Fantasy Tactics is a game that certainly delivers on its namesake, as it casts a spell of woe, peril, heartbreak, and of course, fantasy. The kingdom of Ivalice is in danger, as a great rift known as the Lion War is beginning to tear apart its people, government, and church. Preceding the 50-Year War, an event prior to the start of the game, Ivalice is locked in the process of restoring its economical situation, as well as settling its political disputes. But the issue is that the king of Ivalice has recently passed, and an internal conflict over who should be the heir to the throne has sparked, which in turn leads to the story of Final Fantasy Tactics, which is no doubt filled with betrayal, assassination, political, philosophical ideas, nobility, and peasantry. You take control as a noble named Ramza Beowulf, who belongs to the Beowulf noble family. His goals seem to be straightforward from the get-go, serving his family as well as doing his part as a soldier and restoring balance to his kingdom. But young Ramza eventually cuts ties to his own nobility after a tragic death. The story of Final Fantasy Tactics is centered around Ramza and his exploits throughout the war, as he discovers something far more sinister lurking behind the curtain of the Lion War. Gameplay is quite deviant from its regulatory Final Fantasy action repertoire. Rather than your character standing on one side of the screen, waiting to face off against a horde of enemies in front of them, Tactics takes place on a 3D isometric chessboard-like playing field, where you command your small army of soldiers, mages, archers, monks, ninjas, samurais, you name it. Turn-based action is still the pace of the game, but because you control so many aspects at once, you'll feel a lot more in control and be able to really stretch your strategic capabilities. All in all, it still carries the good old Final Fantasy charm with its music, intricate pixelated artwork, cunning gameplay, and well-placed tactical action. You recruit a set of characters here and there as you progress throughout the story, but for the most part, you'll be finding and assigning generic soldiers to whatever job role you want them to have. It definitely takes time, patience, and training to level up your characters, teach them new abilities, and unlock higher tier job roles in order for your miniature army to unleash hell. But in due time, your troops will be a force to be reckoned with. In the end, I'd have to say it's definitely my favorite Final Fantasy game today. I give Final Fantasy Tactics a 10 out of 10. Checkmate.